And BTN returns. It's been a long gap there between episodes. We've been in licensure season, and we just thought it would be worthwhile to come back with some BT tips for closing out the school year. I'm here with
Carol Blaylock,
Alicia Washington,
and we're here to give you our best advice for closing out the school year in a successful way. So let's get started. We have about 6 tips that we want to share with you today. Number 1 is prioritize learning needs. Sometimes we run out of time because of things like being out for the hurricane and or just whatever. And as the tested, especially if we teach a tested subject, is we have a test coming and we feel like we haven't covered the entire curriculum. It's a good idea to look at your assessment specifications. If you don't know what that is, ask your instructional coach and find out what's heavily tested. And just focus on that and then work your way backwards.
Right.
Ladies, did you have anything that you wanted to add to that?
Like for example, if you're on your test for elementary, your intergrade math test, it's going to be tested on time. You won't want to spend your time teaching fractions if it's not even on there.
Right.
So just prioritize your learning needs.
Yeah. And it might be something important that the kids need to know, like the parts of speech, for example. I've seen teachers going over the parts of speech. That's not tested. And so we want to just be smart about how we use our time, especially if we're running out of time.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can teach those things after the test is over.
Good. Yeah, that's a real good point, Alicia. You will have plenty of time. After the test. And that's something we're going to talk about in just a minute. Speaking of which, number 2, keep teaching. We don't stop teaching after the EOG. A lot of people think that we do. In most cases, sometimes in high school, I think that they send them home after
they do.
Yeah. But middle school and elementary, we still have 2 weeks usually after they take their EOG. So there's lots of activities that you can do with the kids. You just want to keep teaching. You don't want to start showing movies too early because what happens?
Then they get off task and they're not focused and then trouble starts. It's important to keep up with those things that you don't think you had enough time to do and come back and visit those. Or if there were things that were really fun and successful, it's a time to do some more activities with those kinds of things. But it's important that they always have something engaging to do because this is the time of year where their behavior really starts to decline.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Yeah. And, a lot of teachers will show movies at the end of the year, and after one movie might hold their attention, but then if you start showing movie after movie after movie, that thrill wears off.
Right.
Fast. I mean, most of them have seen all of the movies at home anyway, and they're going to try to find other ways to have fun.
Exactly.
So a structured activity after EOG, a good project.
Yes.
Where they can create something. Yeah. Or something like that.
Or change the environment. Instead of reading a book inside the classroom, go outside.
Yeah.
And read a book to the class.
But it needs to be a structured, teacher-led activity right up to the very end. Okay. Number 3, and this kind of ties into it. Number 3, keep them busy. Okay.
Right.
I'm going to keep them busy with activities that will keep them from getting in trouble. We talked just a minute ago about projects. Looking ahead to the next year can be a good way to use that time too.
Right. I always had my students write letters to the students that would be coming in August. It gives them a time to kind of reflect on what was fun, what they enjoyed, maybe things they did enjoy, and that can help you kind of plan for the beginning of the year, have something, because the beginning of the year is hard too to keep them busy, and you would have letters to share and read, and that would give you kind of an activity to start the year out with, and it keeps your current students busy, kind of reflecting on their year, like something really fun they did or something that they really enjoyed about your class.
I like that a lot, actually. Number 4, Very important to be flexible. The end of the year, the last few weeks of school are very different.
Yes.
And can be unpredictable.
Right. And so, like, for example, like in middle school, you might have to eat lunch in your room.
For elementary, sometimes your TA might get pulled for EOG testing or to teach another class because the teacher is sick or had to go home.
Yeah. You might be asked to proctor or hold somebody else's kids.
Right.
I mean, it can just be, we have to do what we have to do to get through testing without getting in trouble.
And that also,
Yeah.
your enhancement teachers often
Right.
get pulled
Right.
to do EOG testing or EOC testing, whether they're proctoring or one-on-ones. And so
Yeah.
you might have to be prepared to miss an enhancement if you're in an elementary.
Yes, you might. Yeah, and sometimes you'll go a whole day without getting a planning period, and it can be tough. But we just have to try to be flexible and just be nice to each other.
Right.
I think it's a real good thing, and I've been guilty before of snapping
Right.
on one of those days, where you didn't get a break, you have to go to the bathroom,
Right.
you have a headache, and so just remember that it'll all be over in a few days,
Right.
and then you'll have a couple of months off. So just keep that summer vacation in your mind. Number 5, be vigilant. It's tempting to work on your KIM records or your end of year checkout, early while you've got children. But what do we need to be doing, ladies?
You need to have eyes on them all the time, because this is, like we said earlier, this is the time behaviors and attention start to dwindle. And so you have to watch them all the time, because we're super close to the end of the school year. You don't want something bad to happen to your students or to you, but you do need to watch them. If you're an elementary teacher, now is the time where the students are starting to really wear on each other's nerves.
Right.
So you need to be circulating the playground, not just sitting. And I know we're tired and those kind of things, but you need to be out on the playground, monitoring what your kids are doing out there, because this is the time they start to kind of like brothers and sisters. After they're together for a while, they get, on each other's nerves.
That's right.
And kids are very honest. I found out through the years. Like Carol was saying, making sure your eyes is on them at all times, because if they fall or if something happens on the playground, first thing they say is, "Oh, Miss C was on her phone, or Miss C was talking. She didn't see me."
That's right.
So just
and in middle school, I know they asked to go everywhere near the end of the year. Can I go here and can I go there? And it's real easy, especially if you're working on cubes or something. Oh yeah, sure. Well, meanwhile they're meeting someone somewhere, another student, and so we don't want to get in trouble, and we want to protect the children.
Right.
So just keep them in your room.
Yes.
They don't need to be walking the halls and all over the school at the end of the year. Just try to keep them, because if they're on your roll, you're responsible for them.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
So that's just it. And then we want to end with a positive. Number 6, the last tip we've got for you: have fun with the kids. Sometimes at the end, we can end on a negative note where we're raising our voice to the kids a lot, and arguing with kids and this, that, and the other. And just keep in mind that you might not see some of them ever again.
Right. And this is the time where it's okay to have those pizza parties or watch a movie like the last day of school or the day before the last day of school, because you want to enjoy your students and just have that time before the year ends.
Yeah. Bring them a treat, just a small treat. It can be like candy, or it could be, again, I was primary, so I would bring bubbles and sidewalk chalk and things like that. We would even do math with sidewalk chalk.
Yeah.
And, outside when it was a pretty day, kind of change up things a little bit. And also took it out on the playground to give them something different to do, and to kind of, keep them engaged and excited to be at school.
Yeah. It feels good to end on a positive note. It really does. And so just remember they're kids that like to have fun, and just try to enjoy them and laugh a little bit with them if you can. Not too early though.
Nope.
Right.
We can't
Yeah.
start doing this today,
Right.
or we're going to get in trouble.
That's
Yeah.
right.
But do your best to try to end on a positive note with them. And anything else, ladies?
No,
want to
just
add there?
enjoy it,
Yeah.
and this too shall pass.
Yes.
Right. You're almost there.
Yay! Almost made it.
And you've done a great
Yeah.
job.
Yep. And if you need help from us, we're available to help you and assist you and give you advice and support up until the very end of the year. So have fun and have a good end of the year.
Bye.
Bye.